There comes a sacred moment in the journey of every chosen one when the entire world seems to pause. Life slows down, as if time itself is holding its breath. You may begin to notice that familiar paths are no longer open. People you once trusted start to drift away. The things that once worked effortlessly begin to lose their power. It is in this strange stillness that a deeper truth begins to rise. This moment is not meant to confuse or discourage you. It is an awakening, a divine signal that something powerful is shifting within you. You are not being blocked, you are being redirected. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. The awakening is the first sign that you have stepped into a higher phase of your purpose. It is where your old identity begins to dissolve so that your true soul can emerge. This phase may feel uncertain, but it is full of sacred purpose. You are not losing your path. You are finding your real one. Allow this silence to speak to you. Allow the stillness to shape you. Because in this awakening, your real strength is being born. And soon, everything will begin to make perfect sense. The final test is not something that comes with warnings or announcements. It does not show up with a label or a clear sign saying, "This is the test you must pass." Instead, it comes quietly, comes through moments that feel confusing, still, and unfamiliar. And yet, within these moments lies the doorway to your next level of growth, power, and spiritual transformation. This final test is not like a school exam or a competition where you are judged by others. This test is spiritual, personal, and deeply sacred. It is not meant to measure how much you know in your mind. It is meant to reveal how much you trust with your soul. When you are in this test, it often feels like nothing around you is moving. The doors you have been knocking on remain closed. The people you used to count on are no longer available. The prayers you offer seem to be met with silence. But this silence is not emptiness. It is divine communication in its highest form. It is the universe preparing your soul for something extraordinary. This test is designed to stretch you, not to harm you. It is here to pull out your truest strength, your deepest patience, and your purest trust. It is a process of refinement. Like gold is purified in fire, your spirit is being shaped by stillness, delay, and emotional challenges. This is where you are not only being prepared to receive your blessings, you are being shaped to carry them with wisdom and integrity. Many people wonder, why is nothing working for me? Why do I feel stuck? But the truth is, you are not stuck. You are being paused. And in that pause, something sacred is happening. You are being taught how to listen to the inner voice of your soul instead of the noise of the outside world. This test is also deeply connected to your purpose. Before you step into the next level of your mission, you must become someone who can handle it. The universe needs to know that you are ready, not just in words, but in your energy, your patience, and your emotional maturity. That is why this test often brings back old emotions, old habits, or old doubts. Not to punish you, but to give you one final opportunity to choose differently. You might be asked to walk alone, not because you are unloved, but because your connection with your higher self needs to grow stronger. You might be asked to let go of control, not because things are falling apart, but because a greater design is being formed without your awareness. You might be asked to surrender completely, not as a sign of weakness, but as a demonstration of real power. This test is sacred, and it is not about speed. It is about surrender. It is not about perfection. It is about trust. It is not about proving your worth. It is about remembering that you are already worthy. So if you are in a season where things feel still, quiet, or confusing, know that you are not alone. You are in the divine classroom, You are in the final refinement. This test is not here to block you. It is here to birth you into a stronger, clearer, more powerful version of yourself. And once you pass it, everything begins to shift. Doors open without effort. Opportunities find you. The answers come. And most importantly, you realize that the real gift was not what came after the test. It was who you became because of it. Chosen ones are not ordinary souls. They carry within them a divine assignment that stretches beyond personal desires or material goals. Their path is one of impact, influence, and spiritual legacy. But before a chosen one can rise to their highest purpose, they must go through a process of divine preparation. And this preparation often comes in the form of a final, sacred test. The reason chosen ones face this test is because their purpose is powerful. When someone is born with a higher calling, the universe cannot allow that mission to be activated without full alignment. The final test is not a punishment, it is a spiritual filter. It separates the old self from the new one. It ensures that what is awakened within the chosen one is not just knowledge, but wisdom. Not just faith, but unshakable trust. This test comes when a chosen one is right at the edge of their breakthrough. It appears when everything seems to slow down, when the path becomes unclear, and when nothing seems to respond. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs that the soul is in transition. A higher dimension of power is being downloaded into the chosen one's life, and the test is there to make sure the foundation can hold it. Chosen ones are often given great vision. They are shown glimpses of what their future can look like, the lives they will touch, the healing they will spread, and the abundance they will attract. But before those visions become reality, they must become someone who can handle the responsibility with grace. The final test refines that character. It shapes the soul in silence. It teaches the chosen one how to carry light in the darkest moments. Another reason why chosen ones face this test is because their journey is not just about them. It is about others. Their healing becomes healing for generations. Their strength becomes a blueprint for those who are still searching. If a chosen one gives up too soon or reacts from a place of fear, the mission is delayed. Therefore, the universe makes sure that when the chosen one rises, they rise unshakable. This test is also a mirror. It reflects the deepest parts of the chosen one's soul, the hidden doubts, the buried fears, the silent prayers. It brings all of these to the surface so they can be healed, not hidden. The final test is an invitation to become fully conscious, fully aligned, and fully awakened. It also serves as a divine reminder that power without humility becomes dangerous. That is why the chosen one is often brought to a place of surrender, not to feel weak, but to remember that real strength comes from letting go, not from forcing. This surrender opens the gates of divine wisdom, where guidance becomes clearer and energy flows more freely. Every test the chosen one faces builds spiritual stamina. Every delay strengthens their patience. Every unanswered question deepens their faith. In this way, the chosen one is not just passing a test. They are becoming the answer for others. This path is unique. Not everyone will understand the chosen one's silence. Not everyone will see their spiritual battles. But the universe sees. The divine plan sees. And when the chosen one stays the course, even in stillness, they become aligned with a greater timing, a timing that is always perfect. So why do chosen ones face this final test? Because they are meant to lead. They are meant to awaken others. They are meant to break cycles, shift generations, and restore light in places where darkness once ruled. This is not a small task, and so it requires a soul that has been tested, trusted, and transformed. When the chosen one understands this, everything changes. The struggle becomes sacred. The wait becomes preparation. The silence becomes a language. And eventually, the chosen one realizes that the test was never a block. It was a blessing in disguise. In truth, this test is the final step before elevation. It is the soul's way of proving that it is ready not just to receive, but to serve. And once passed, the chosen one is no longer the same. They rise with clarity, they move with purpose, and they live with deep spiritual power that cannot be shaken. The final test does not always appear in dramatic ways. Sometimes, it enters your life so quietly that you may not even realize you are inside it. But the signs are always present if you pay close attention. The universe never leaves a chosen one in the dark without silent guidance. You are shown the signs through your feelings, your environment, and your spiritual state. Understanding these signs is the first step toward passing this sacred test with wisdom and awareness. Let us explore the clear signs that indicate you are currently experiencing the final test of your soul's journey. One, you feel an unusual stillness in your life. One of the most powerful signs is stillness. You may feel like life has suddenly paused. Things that once moved quickly now feel delayed. Goals that seemed close now feel distant. You may feel as though you are standing in a hallway where no doors are opening. But this stillness is not a punishment. It is divine preparation. The universe is asking you to stop doing and start becoming. This is a sacred waiting room, where your next chapter is being written quietly in the background. Two, you experience emotional and spiritual isolation. In the final test, the chosen one often walks alone, not because they are unloved, but because solitude becomes the classroom of the soul. Friends may feel distant. You may sense that no one truly understands what you are going through. This isolation is not a curse. It is a call inward. It is in these moments of aloneness that your connection with your higher self begins to grow stronger. You are being taught to depend on divine strength rather than external support. Three, old wounds and habits resurface for healing. You may notice that past emotions, old habits, or forgotten fears suddenly come back into your awareness. These are not setbacks, they are sacred invitations for healing. The final test often brings unresolved emotions to the surface so that you can finally choose differently. This is your opportunity to respond from a higher vibration. Instead of reacting with fear or doubt, you are being asked to respond with trust, wisdom, and inner peace. Four, your outer world feels uncertain, but your inner voice becomes stronger. During the final test, the outer world may seem unstable. Plans may fall apart. Expectations may not be met. But at the same time, your inner voice, your intuition, becomes louder. You start sensing what feels right or wrong more clearly. You feel guided by subtle nudges, repeated messages, or deep inner knowing. This is how the universe communicates with you when everything outside feels unclear. 5. Nothing you try seems to work, no matter how hard you push. This sign is often misunderstood. When your usual methods stop working, it can feel frustrating. But in the final test, effort alone is not the key. You are being shifted from action to alignment. This means that instead of forcing results, you are learning how to surrender, to trust the timing, and to flow with divine wisdom. It is a shift from the mind to the soul, from control to allowing. 6. You feel a deep inner urge to change, but you cannot see what is next. You may feel a powerful pull within your heart telling you that something is about to change. Yet, you have no clarity about what that change looks like. This is part of the final test. You are being asked to walk by faith, not by sight. You are being guided through inner energy before outer events unfold. This is where your spiritual muscles are built. 7. Synchronicities and signs appear more frequently. In this sacred stage, you may begin noticing repeated numbers, symbols, dreams, or unexpected messages. These signs are not random. They are confirmations from the universe that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The signs are there to encourage you, to whisper, "You are being tested, but you are not alone." 8. A sudden loss of control, but a gentle rise in peace. When you realize that no matter how much you try to plan, control, or predict, life is asking you to let go. That is when you know the final test has begun. And even though letting go may feel uncomfortable, you also begin to feel a strange peace. This peace is the beginning of trust. It is the seed of surrender. It is the moment your soul steps forward, ready to lead. Recognizing that you are in the final test is the first victory. The moment you see it, you rise above fear. You begin to understand that what looks like delay is actually divine design. What feels like stillness is actually sacred transformation. And what appears as a test is, in truth, the greatest preparation of your soul. Once you know you are in this phase, you can embrace it with faith. You can flow through it with trust. And most importantly, you can allow it to shape you into the person who is truly ready for what comes next. When life places a chosen one inside a final test, it is not to break them down. It is to build them up. The purpose of this test is not punishment. It is transformation. You are not being tested because you are weak. You are being tested because you are strong enough to rise, strong enough to lead, strong enough to walk the sacred path you were born to walk. Many people look at challenges and ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But the chosen one learns to ask, "What is this preparing me for?" This single question holds the key to understanding the deeper purpose behind the final test. Let us now explore the powerful and beautiful purposes behind this sacred stage of your spiritual journey. 1. To reveal your inner power. The final test comes to show you what already lives inside you. Most people live their entire lives unaware of the strength, wisdom, and divine light they carry. The test does not give you power, it reveals it. You may discover courage you never knew you had. You may speak truth you were once afraid to voice. You may take action with faith that defies logic. This is your awakening. The test brings it out. 2. To break old patterns and rewrite your identity. The purpose of the final test is also to dissolve the outdated patterns that no longer serve your highest self. These patterns may include fear, self-doubt, people-pleasing, or constantly seeking external validation. The test will place you in situations where you must choose differently. You are being invited to step into a new identity, one that is aligned with your purpose, values, and divine mission. The test clears away who you were, so you can become who you truly are. 3. To train you for the mission ahead. Every chosen one carries a unique mission, something that only they can bring into the world. But no mission can be fulfilled without preparation. The final test is the sacred training ground. It strengthens your emotional resilience, sharpens your spiritual awareness, and deepens your understanding of divine timing. This stage is preparing you to hold the responsibility and light that comes with your soul's assignment. Without this preparation, the next chapter could overwhelm you. With it, you rise into it with grace. 4. To disconnect you from the noise of the world. In a world filled with distractions, the final test often comes with a period of silence. This silence is not empty. It is filled with clarity. The purpose of this silence is to pull you away from the voices of others so that you can hear your own. It teaches you to stop chasing validation and begin listening to your intuition. It teaches you to stop living for applause and start living in alignment with your soul. This quiet time is sacred. It is where you reconnect with truth. 5. To activate your divine timing. Another sacred purpose of the final test is to align you with divine timing. Sometimes you may feel like everything is delayed, but the truth is the universe is rearranging things behind the scenes. The final test teaches patience, trust, and surrender. It removes the ego's timeline and places you in rhythm with something greater. When you learn to wait without worry and walk with faith instead of fear, the doors that open will be the ones meant just for you. 6. To prepare you for expansion and blessings. The final test is always placed before a major shift. It is a sacred sign that something beautiful is on its way. But your energy must match the magnitude of what you are about to receive. That is why you are tested. The purpose is to upgrade your mindset, expand your vision, and strengthen your heart. You are not being held back, you are being prepared. The blessings that are coming need a stronger version of you to carry them with wisdom and responsibility. 7. To align you with your soul's true path. At its core, the ultimate purpose of the final test is to bring you into alignment with your soul. It strips away distractions, illusions, and anything that pulls you off course. It asks you to go inward, to reflect, and to return to the original blueprint of your spirit. When you complete this test with awareness and integrity, you begin to walk your life's path with clarity, confidence, and divine purpose. The final test is sacred. It is not a blockage, it is a blessing in disguise. It is life's way of preparing you for something far greater than what you have imagined. When you understand its purpose, you stop resisting and begin participating. You begin to see the divine intelligence working through every moment. You rise not just to pass a test, but to become the person you were always destined to be. Passing the final test as a chosen one is not about being perfect. It is about being aligned. It is not about having all the answers. It is about listening to your inner truth, trusting the divine process, and showing up with courage even when the path feels unclear. This sacred test is designed to shape you, not to stop you. To pass it, you must rise with awareness, intention, and deep spiritual presence. Let us now understand the key principles and steps that help a chosen one pass the final test with grace and power. 1. Embrace the test with acceptance, not resistance. The very first step is acceptance. Many people try to escape the discomfort of their spiritual test. But true chosen ones understand that resistance only prolongs the process. When you accept that you are being tested, your awareness deepens. You become a conscious participant in your transformation. This does not mean giving up, it means leaning in. Say to yourself, "This test is here to awaken me. I will rise through it." Acceptance brings peace, and peace brings power. 2. Stay rooted in your inner truth. During the final test, there may be moments of confusion, doubt, or silence. But in these moments, you must return to your inner truth. What do you believe? What values do you stand for? What vision does your soul hold? When the outside world becomes uncertain, your inner compass becomes your guide. Meditate, pray, reflect. Whatever connects you with your soul, this connection will carry you forward with clarity and strength. 3. Let go of what no longer serves your highest self. The final test often requires a letting go, a release of what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. This could be a mindset, a habit, a relationship, or a belief that limits your light. Letting go is not about loss. It is about creating space for the new. You pass the test when you stop holding on to the past and start holding space for your future. Honor what brought you here, but be willing to evolve beyond it. 4. Be disciplined with your energy and attention. Energy is sacred, especially during a spiritual test. You must protect your energy like a sacred flame. Avoid distractions, gossip, and low-vibration environments. Choose silence over noise. Choose intention over reaction. Every action you take during this test is a message to the universe about who you are becoming. Use your energy wisely. Spend it on healing, growing, and becoming. This is how you pass with power. 5. Act with integrity even when no one is watching. One of the most powerful parts of the final test is how it calls you to act in alignment with your highest truth, especially when no one is watching. This is where true spiritual maturity is born. Will you speak with kindness even when others are silent? Will you keep your heart open even when others are closed? Will you stay honest even when dishonesty seems easier? Passing the test requires inner integrity. It is not about performance. It is about presence. 6. Surrender the outcome and trust divine timing. Many chosen ones struggle because they want instant results. But the final test is not on your schedule, it unfolds on divine timing. Trust that what is meant for you will arrive exactly when you are ready. Your job is not to control every outcome. Your job is to keep showing up with faith, discipline, and heart. Let go of the need to force. Let go of the need to prove. Instead, surrender with strength and trust the unfolding. 7. Keep the vision alive in your heart. The final test is a temporary chapter, but the vision of your soul is eternal. To pass this test, you must keep your vision alive. See yourself already on the other side. Imagine the version of you who has passed the test stronger, wiser, clearer. Hold that image close. Let it fuel your choices. Let it inspire your steps. Even when nothing around you changes, keep that inner fire burning. Your vision is your anchor. Passing the final test is not about doing more. It is about becoming more aware, becoming more aligned, becoming more connected to your purpose. You are not here to survive the test, you are here to transform through it. Walk with courage, breathe with trust, rise with grace. This test is not here to stop you. It is here to unlock you. Once a chosen one passes the final test, everything begins to shift. Not just in the outer world, but more importantly, within. It is like walking through an invisible door into a new dimension of clarity, strength, and divine alignment. The test may have felt long, uncertain, or heavy at times, but passing it brings a profound lightness, a fresh breath of life, and a deeper connection to your soul purpose. Let us now explore what truly happens when you pass the final test. 1. A deep inner peace enters your life. The first and most beautiful change is the arrival of inner peace. This peace is not the result of outside success. It is the reward of inner alignment. You will begin to feel calm even in chaos, steady even in uncertainty. This is because your soul has learned how to trust, how to surrender, and how to live in the present moment with faith. You no longer feel the need to control everything. You simply walk with the energy of trust, and that brings a peace that nothing can shake. 2. You feel a clear sense of purpose. After passing the final test, your purpose becomes clearer. It is as if the fog lifts from your path. What once confused you now makes sense. You begin to understand why certain events happened, why you had to let go of certain things, and why you were called to grow in specific ways. Your life begins to feel meaningful again. You do not chase purpose anymore, you live it. Each action you take feels guided by something greater than yourself. 3. Life becomes flowing, not forced. One of the most powerful signs that you have passed the test is that things begin to flow more naturally. Opportunities show up at the right time. People who match your energy come into your life. Doors open without force. This is because your energy is now aligned with divine timing. When you stop pushing and start allowing, the universe mirrors that shift. Your path feels lighter, not because life becomes perfect, but because you have become aligned. 4. You become magnetic to blessings. When your spirit is aligned, you radiate a powerful energy that attracts goodness. People are drawn to your calm presence. Ideas begin to flow. New paths begin to open. You do not need to chase. What is meant for you begins to find you. This is not magic, but the natural result of spiritual alignment. Your energy becomes a magnet for everything that matches your truth, your growth, and your divine mission. 5. You inspire others just by being yourself. After passing the test, your presence begins to speak louder than your words. People may ask how you stay so calm, so focused, so free. Your journey becomes a light for others. Without trying to prove anything, you begin to inspire simply by being who you truly are. This is the gift of transformation. It not only changes your life, it becomes a ripple that touches the lives of many around you. 6. Your connection to the divine deepens. Passing the final test brings you closer to the divine source. You begin to experience a spiritual intimacy that is hard to explain in words. Whether you call it God, the universe, the higher self, or divine intelligence, you feel it walking with you. Your prayers feel stronger. Your intuition becomes sharper. You trust the signs. You hear the guidance. You know that you are being carried, not just by faith, but by a real spiritual relationship that has been forged through fire. 7. You are given a higher responsibility. With greater clarity comes greater responsibility. After passing the test, you are often called to serve in deeper ways. This may come in the form of helping others, sharing your wisdom, creating something meaningful, or living as an example of love and light. But this responsibility does not feel heavy, it feels sacred. You understand that your growth was not only for you. It was to prepare you to lead, to love, and to guide others who are still walking their own tests. 8. Gratitude becomes your way of living. When you reach this point, you no longer take life for granted. The pain, the waiting, the lessons, they all become part of your gratitude. You see the beauty in the small moments. You find joy in simple things. You live with a heart that says, "Thank you," not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit has matured. Gratitude becomes your natural state of being. Passing the final test does not mean that challenges will disappear forever, but it means that you have become someone who no longer fears them. You have stepped into a higher version of yourself. You have remembered your divine identity, and now life responds to that identity with love, flow, and divine alignment. This is not just the end of a test, it is the beginning of your true life. So if everything feels like it is falling apart right now, if you are exhausted, confused, and wondering why nothing is moving, know this: you are not being punished. You are being promoted. You are in the final test, and this one is non-negotiable. Do not give up now. You are so close. Comment below, "I am ready to pass the test." Let the universe see your courage. Let the silence know you are unshaken. Let the world feel your soul rising. Your breakthrough is watching you. Prove you are ready.